Aloha and welcome to the Path of Me podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Hutchinson, and I wanted to create a sacred space for soul to soul conversations with people sharing their light through their passion, power, and purpose. Thank you all so much for being here. Let me introduce my next amazing podcast guest. Hey everyone, welcome to the Path of Me. I'm your host, Wendy Hutchinson, and I have the beautiful Tarot Joe today with us. She's world famous in the tarot world, but her full name is Jo De Jong. De Jong?
Very good.
I tried my best with your name.
Yeah,
Welcome. You are
thank you very much.
such an incredible internationally acclaimed tarot teacher, author, musician. You have so many wide range talents, and you are blending your passion for tarot, numerology, and I would say spiritual. You're a spiritual teacher, and I'm so excited to talk to you today. So welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting, all the way from Holland, but that
I
doesn't really make a
know.
difference with Zoom now, does it?
I know, isn't it beautiful? We can connect all over the world, and I'm so excited just to know you as a friend and also to share your beautiful work with the world. So I'm just so excited to talk to you about your journey. One thing I found so fascinating was that you were an English teacher for many years.
Yes. Well,
So
the
tell me a
proper
little bit
thing,
about how you transitioned from that into really your life's mission and purpose.
well, I was a teacher of English, as they say properly, right? The teacher of English. For
Hmm.
21 years, I was a teacher in high school, like you would call it, and I was teaching the special need kids, like the 14 till 16-year-old.
Hmm.
And it was fun. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the world in general. But I got ill, like a lot of people in education, unfortunately. And after my second burnout, I figured I have to do something else. This is not going to work.
Right.
And as a highly sensitive person in an environment where people try to push on more and more and more, it felt like I'm done. So in 2017, the end of 2017, I got ill and I had a lot of problems, physical problems. I had back pains, and it turned out I had a burnout as well. So 2017, it was, I got home and I figured, like, I don't know. I don't like this role anymore that I have to play. But, like most people, the mortgages need to be paid and the bills and everything,
Right.
this is what it is. And I said to my wife, I don't know, maybe I should stay home for a week or so because I don't feel well, because I'm never ill.
Yeah.
And then a week after that, I said, maybe I should stay home for the rest of the year. It was like end of November. And then a week later, I said, I'm never going to be back. I'm never going back. And this was
Wow.
coming from my soul. And I
Hmm.
was so shocked about myself. Like, what am I saying? I mean, I was a teacher and everything, like
Yeah.
I was working 50 hours a week and it wasn't enough. And I tried to do everything I could, like everybody in education, right?
Hmm.
Uh, but I had no idea what was the path then. And I already started my own company, but this was related to education. And this wasn't my path. I mean, I tried really, really hard to build this company up, but I felt whatever I do, there's walls in between, and it's not. It doesn't feel like it's aligned, like we were talking about. So, in the end, I worked really, really hard during my burnout, and end of 2020, I felt like this is not it. But I don't know what to do, what else to do actually. So somewhere in 2018, my wife saw an ad about a tarot course, and she said, "Oh, you've got those tarot cards. Maybe it's nice for you to do." So I started this, and I thought, it's nice. My wife has a Reiki um, practice, and I figured, well, maybe I can do some readings. Nothing serious, nothing. So I looked up my cards, which I bought in 1997. Can you
Oh
imagine?
my gosh. Wow.
They were somewhere in the back of my closet. I could find them right away, and I found the books that I bought back then, which I didn't understand. So in the end, like most people, you buy cards, you buy tarot cards, you buy books, you buy more books to try to figure it out, and you don't understand, so they end up in the back of the closet. And there they stayed until 2018. So I picked it up, but I wasn't very serious about this. Um, so somewhere around 2019, people said in my wife's practice, Joe, when are you going to start with the tarot? Because I want to learn this from you. So, okay, well, maybe I can put up a tarot course, maybe that'll be fun. So I did this, nothing really serious. So I was putting this together, but I was still working on my other business. And then end of 2020, I remember it very clearly. I'm right about this in my book. We had one person who wanted to attend the course. So Mariella, my wife, said, what are we going to do? Are we going to continue with this, or what do you want to do with this? You know what? I said, I'm going to do some Facebook Live just for
Wow.
fun. See
That's
if people want
brave.
to. I know, but it's going to be braver than that, actually. So I was doing this Facebook Live and had all these notes, in front of me, and I was doing the week cards, and then I did the week cards, and people were very enthusiastic, a lot of people watching, and then I heard myself say, I'm going to do live readings. And I was thinking, oh my God, I've never done this in my life. But I said it, and everybody was watching, so I had to do this. So I was doing live readings for people I've never seen. I don't even know, like screens. That's it.
Mhm.
So people were so enthusiastic, and the courses were full. People wanted to have readings. People wanted to interact in all sorts of ways. So I figured end of 2020. So that's like 3 years later, I think. Oh, maybe I should do this. So then I started writing my first book in 2021 because I figured, well, you can't work with anybody else's book. And I didn't like the books that were on the market. They were very difficult and difficult words, and it was such long explanations of all the cards. And I figured this should be better. As teachers are very stubborn, they're very like, I know it best.
Right.
So I figured I have to write a book myself. So I started this. And with this book, I went to one of the wholesalers we got acquainted with, and I asked them, do you want to sell my book? And she said, yes, that sounds good. But don't you want to do any courses here? We have a room here nobody uses. You can start courses, and everything was falling back into place. So now we're 4 years ahead, and I've written 7 books. I created my own tarot deck and wrote 2 albums, music albums about the tarot and spirituality. And here we are. Now I'm traveling the world. Within 6 weeks, I'll be in Australia. But I was last year in the UK, the International Tarot Conference. I was allowed to start it up for 90 minutes, which is really, really big. I was in Japan as the first foreigner to do a workshop in Tokyo Tarot Museum. And now I'm traveling the world and I'm living my dream,
Oh, I
Wendy.
love it. I love it. But also, touching so many people and supporting their journey, which is really the most important thing, right? Is that you're so aligned with your dream, but also there's such a powerful purpose and impact that you're having, which is
It
so
is.
incredible.
I think it is. I mean, I'm just a normal girl. That's what I keep telling people. I'm just so normal. And people always tell me, Joe, you don't look spiritual, which is so fun if people say this. I have no idea what they mean. Like, how does a spiritual person look?
I
What
think
do they
people
look
have
like?
these preconceived ideas that you have to be a yogi or you have to dress a certain way, but really you're the messenger. And you look exactly as you need to look, right? You are who you are to present these teachings and to have this impact. And I'm just so excited to see where you end up going. What was it like, you know, to be in that transition space? Because I know a lot of people are being called forward into their lane, so to speak, or their alignment right now. And it's such an uncomfortable place to close a chapter and really not know what's coming. And then, what was that like for you to navigate that space where you knew what you were doing wasn't really working for you, but you knew you were moving in a direction of some kind?
I would like to say it was like these cuddly rainbow bears, like with the rainbow bellies, and it was all and all great, but actually it was horrible. It was really horrible to find your life purpose because you really, really have to dig deep.
Yeah.
And now I'm just talking about I ended my career in education, but it was no fun at all. It was with lawyers and horrible messages and
Mhm.
threats, and I really had to fight the demons. I've written a very nice song about that. Um, Dancing with the Demons, in which I thank them, thank them for what they did. You need to have demons who kick you in the ass and say, this is not the right path for you. They had no idea what they were doing, which is fine. But thanks to them, I became very ill. Now I can see this. Thanks to them, I became very ill and figured I'm not going back because this is not my path. This is not what I'm supposed to do. Education, teaching people, that was what I'm here for,
Right.
but not in that environment where I got ill for like two times. And I
Wow.
cannot recommend it to anybody to become this ill that I mean, I was in the supermarket so many times and I had to drive back because I had no idea what I was doing there. This was the state I was in.
Wow.
So that's a burnout. Like you really can't take anything anymore. Everything's too much.
Mm.
Everything's too much. So it's like you system overload, like it exploded like
Right.
a
So you're
machine.
like forced to pay attention to the signs because you have no choice.
No, now I can see it was the best thing that happened to me. When
Yeah.
you're in the middle of this, it's horrible. I
Mhm.
write about this in my book, because I've written a book about it. Everybody can write a book about it, but I've written a book about it.
Tell
That
us
it was
hold the book up and tell us the title of your book.
um well, the funny thing is the title is How My Passion Found My Life. But this is not a title I came up with because I got a vision, a dream that I was supposed to write a book. Joe, you have to write a book. And I was thinking, like, I've written 6 books, give me a break. But this was not the case because I had to keep moving.
Mm.
And so I paused it like, yeah, well, great. You want me to write a book? And they even gave me the title, How My Passion Found My Life. And it was English, and it was in English. And I thought, well, it sounds good,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to write it. I was like, I need a break from all this writing, from all this writing. Come on, a girl needs a break. So I was visiting one of my friends. She's a medium, and she was channeling with me for something. I can't remember what it was. And the first thing she said, they're wondering why you're not writing the book. And I didn't tell her anything about the book. I didn't tell her about the vision or anything. I said, well, I've written 6 books in 3 years, and I thought it was a little bit enough for the time spent. So she said, well, they really want you to write this book. So I had no idea what to do with this because I've written 6 books about the tarot, but I haven't ever written anything about myself. So it's like an autobiography or something, which I hate this word, manuscript. It's horrible. So I was just, I just getting my laptop and I just started writing about experiences. And it was like a journey through all this, which was not always a nice experience. And also this big mirror and some things like, okay, I've dealt with that, but this is something I really need to focus on to give it a certain place in my life. So it was interesting. It was sometimes very sad, but also very spiritual to write this book. And I haven't only written about myself, but then the questions came like, okay, this is my story, but what can people gain from my story? What kind of reflection questions are there for other people? Because this is my story, but some people think, oh, well, this is great, Joe, but what's in it for me? Well, what's in it for you is like, my story can become your story. And like, how did you deal with loss or certain fights in your life, or maybe illness? I write a lot about the things that I experienced physically, and this was a lot. I didn't know it was so much until I wrote this book, that I was, putting a list on all the things that my body was signaling me to me all those years. And I was like, oh, I never wanted to see all these messages. So,
The
yeah,
reflections sometimes are really impactful when you step back
isn't it?
and
Isn't it? Yeah.
really look at what you've been through and really, I think we're always kind of faced forward. So we're either in what we're in or we're moving forward, right? But sometimes when we reflect back on our lives and see the adversity we've overcome, or we see the reason we went through whatever it was, whether it was a relationship trauma or a family situation or a health thing in your case, there's a lot there for us to acknowledge. And I think also integrate those aspects of who we are into who we are, because it is part of our journey. It brought us here. It gave us resilience, strength, courage sometimes. And it deserves to be honored, even though it was so difficult.
Yes, definitely. And I write about, like I said, loss.
Mhm.
Losing my dad in 2015, which changed everything in my life. I mean, like lots of people, when they experience loss, especially when it's a parent involved, it's like it turns your life upside down, right? And in the end, I said goodbye to my whole family because I had to move on. I had to go on this path. They didn't understand one thing about it. They have no idea what I'm doing. Well, they know what I'm doing, but they don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I had to let them go for me to move on and to become who I am today.
You have to choose yourself and your path and your knowing, I think. But it often requires us to let people go because they were part of a moment in time in your life, but they're not interested in coming with you. They're not capable of it. They can't hold the frequency of it. They've decided to stay in a certain bandwidth of frequency and
Yes.
reality, and it's really challenging because I also faced a lot of judgment because of the work I do, a lot of pushback, negatively.
Hmm.
And it takes a lot of courage to just really know your soul is calling you forward and to answer the call and not give in to keeping yourself in that tight box.
True. And it was not easy. It was never easy. And I write about this in my book as well. But in my soul, I felt like I have to do this because I need to go forward. You can't go backwards anymore. That's impossible. So
Mhm.
you have to move forward, and it's challenging. A lot of challenges on my path. But if I, like I said, I'm a normal girl. If I can do it, everybody can do it. And
Yes.
I don't say to people, you have to say goodbye to your family. This is something you have to decide. This is something that you really feel like, this is what I need to do to move forward. And very, I mean, I said goodbye to friends as well who don't understand anything what I'm doing, which is fine. Like you said, some people follow you on the path. Like I remember somebody saying about this rocket going to the moon, and it's got these extra rockets next to each other, and they go to a certain height and then they drop off and the rest will continue. I just see myself like that.
Yeah.
um I need to continue. When I know in my heart that I couldn't have done what I did with them, because they would, push me back or
Create doubt and
doubt.
also project their limiting beliefs on you. You know, I found that it was so important for me to, in order to stay aligned, to invite people in who really supported my journey, my vision, my passion, and my soul mission. And it's hard enough in life to have the courage and the knowing and make the choices that move us forward, but to allow people in your family circle or friend circle to project their fears and limiting beliefs on you is like, you know, tying a big sandbag to you that's just anchoring you and holding you back.
Yes,
So I'm so glad you had the courage, and of course you were meant to do this, but it still required choices, right?
we all have choices. Some choices are very harsh but need to be done.
Mm.
So in order to move forward, and we have a mission, we both have a mission in this
Yes,
life. So
yes,
and that requires not always a big crowd around. I find it, the higher you go, the less people that really understand you and really are willing to move on with you.
yes, I fully agree. Sometimes, you know, when you're meant to be out front, it's a very lonely place sometimes, you know,
It is.
because it takes so much alignment and these difficult choices you're speaking of
Hmm.
to to continue to walk the path and to live your mission. And you have been so incredibly prolific too in the work you've been doing and focused. You've created two albums, which is incredible. And you probably have more music in you.
Oh yes.
And I mean, it feels like you are just this constant expression and creation of your soul in bringing all that you are into form here, and it's really incredible to watch and read about, and I feel it's such a gift that I know you.
Thank you. That's very mutual in that way. And I'm a bass player, so I'm very musical. And when I was writing, sorry, when I was writing my book, all of a sudden I had this vision, like, wouldn't it be great if I could write a song with every chapter?
Oh,
So I was looking into that and figured out how to do this with modern technology. So with every chapter, there's a song. I mean, I write about a student I lost through suicide, and I've written a song, and I felt like it should be an empowering song for these poor parents that I've talked to back then, and their families and siblings, so they feel some comfort for that. So I've written a song about that. I've written a song about um, people who find it hard to find their spirituality, like how I did this, like trust your heartbeat, for example, and trust your intuition.
mhm.
Lots of songs came to life just from intuition, like, oh, that's a great topic. Let's write a song about that. This is how it all came. So with the book, there's also the songs, and I hope people find comfort and I don't know, joy in my songs. And sometimes I read something on the internet, and like the other day, and this was someone who was struggling, and it was using "this too shall pass," and I figured that's great. That's a great phrase. That's a great song. So I start making a song out of this, and it's a blues soul song that I've um, pushed into the world, and I really like to listen to it. And I hope people find comfort. Like if you're in a bad place and things are not going the way you want, this
Yeah.
too shall pass, you know,
Yeah.
like
How do they find your music? Where are you?
I'm on Spotify. Yes,
Okay.
I'm on Spotify. I'm on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So people can find me as Tarot Joe.
Hmm.
So there's the music albums for everybody to enjoy.
I love it. What would you say is a message you would share of hope for the people who are kind of going through the process of releasing everything that's falling away? 2024 was such a powerful year to bring people into their alignment. So people were really confronted with a lot of deeper wounds and a lot of very difficult, challenging things in their human life, much like you had with your illness, but maybe on more of an emotional level or relationship level. So, what would you offer to them in terms of, well, what helped you to navigate through those times?
I'm generally very optimistic person. I mean, you can have those times that you feel really bad, but it's like 5 minutes and you can, bitch about everything just for 5 minutes.
Right.
That's it. And
Right.
then kick yourself out of this corner and just move on because
Hmm.
there's always something to be joyful about. And before I fall asleep, I always, sum up the things that I'm thankful for. And that's a lot. And the more you practice this, I'm thankful for this and this, like which feel like the small things, like talking to you today. You will probably be my thank you before I um fall asleep. My house, the food on your table, the beautiful people that are in your life. There's so much to be thankful for, and this is like very high frequency. If you're thankful for things and you really mention this in your life, then you feel like I have a lot. I have a lot. So focus on the light. There's so much darkness in the world, especially at the moment. This is the 2025 is in the tarot, the year of the hermit, which is the light bringer. And I'm very much aligned to the hermit because it's the 9 card, which means that people who were born in September, like I am, are very much connected to the hermit. And when I was first connecting to this card, everybody had the Empress and the Magician, which is a very beautiful card. And I had this grim looking person with a light. And I figured, what's this has to do with me? And then I was really diving into this and thinking, like, I am the light bringer. I bring the light to people, and I bring them, like, look, this is the light. This is the things that you can find in your life with the tarot. So let's do it. Let's find some options for you to do, like I did. Let's find your light. Let's find your spark, because I believe everybody's got a talent, but it's up to you to find your talent.
And then align with it, because to know it is one thing, but to actually step into your light and walk the path is quite that's something else, you know.
It is. I mean, yeah, you have to have the guts, but
Hmm.
I still do now, every week something that scares me. Every week I do something that's really,
Wow, that's pretty powerful. Have you found that your stress tolerance for the fear is so much greater now that it's not as hard since you make that a practice of yours every week?
yes, because I too was oppressed by my parents, like, don't do this, just choose something really
Safe.
easy, choose something that's really not that hard, like,
Mhm.
don't believe you can be this, don't believe you can be that. I mean, and I've changed this all, like, why shouldn't I be the most famous tarot reader in the world? Why can't I just inspire millions of
I
people
love that. I
going
love
to
that for you.
And the things that I'm scared about is the things that, like, if I want to be in certain place, then you have to let them know you want this, right?
Mhm.
So to send them a message, an email, or whatever, that's can be pretty scary. Like what if they say no? Because I don't like it when people say no.
But then
But
I said yes. So it was beautiful. And then it led to another opening door, and here you are. Um,
yeah. So I sent recently I sent a very lovely lady who's doing the StarCon tarot conferences in America. I sent her an email, said, "Hey, this is who I am. I would love to be part of it." And then I got this message back, and I was like, oh, I was so thrilled from this message. And the first line she said, "I absolutely love," with capital letters, "love to book you for 2026." So I'll be in the States in 2026, probably in Florida.
exciting.
Um, and this is something really exciting. But you have to do the action. You have to do the things that you're very scared about. I mean, we talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, oh, well, this is something really scary to be on stage, like to spread this message. And I remember saying to you, you just have to do it. Don't think too much about it. Just do it. Just do it.
Right. Right.
So this is me.
Words of
But
wisdom, which I will take to heart. I know my time is coming.
yes, I will see you. I already visualize you on stage. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I've
have
been
a lot
seeing
to
that for a
tell.
long time. I've been seeing that for a long time. Also, I'm writing my second book. Same as you. I was like, I don't really want to write this story. And it was just like, you will write the story and you will put it out there. I'm like, okay, guess I will.
But sometimes you have this idea of the because I was reading a very old book of the tarot about finding your soul journey. And I remember we were on holiday and I brought this book and I was reading it and I thought like, why isn't this in the world? Why I've never heard of this about finding your soul journey in the tarot. And I was so intrigued by it. I was keep on yapping to my wife about this is amazing. And she's like, well, just write the book then. And I was like, yeah, let's write a book about this. So and that's actually the book, the Discover Your Soul Journey. This is the
Mhm.
book that's bringing me places like in 6 weeks in Australia and Japan
I
and
love it. I love it.
the US. Um, but I just pack it in things that people understand, that people really
I
find it
think in
fun.
the history of, I will say in spirituality, there often is a lot of ego in it. And so it has been made very complicated. There's all this language. And I think what's really needed now is to reach people. You have to speak and break it down in simple terms. These concepts aren't complicated. They're
No,
very simple. They're difficult to walk. It's difficult to walk the path because you have to really do a lot of inner work and you have to really, really make aligned choices to stay in your column of light. Always reach for the light. But it doesn't need to be that complicated. They're
no.
very simple concepts. And I love that you're breaking it down in a way that people can actually digest it and integrate it into their lives with ease and not need a dictionary to look up terms and be confused and feel intimidated, by the
No,
process.
no. That's the thing that I've learned in education. If I would talk to my students in a way, they would like, what is she talking about? You get these tilted faces. I wanted to write books that people find very interesting to work with, and you can actually write in my books. And if the author says it's okay, it is okay to write in books. Because I believe like tarot is something you really use. You really get the cards, get the book, write, feel, do meditation, see what it brings you,
So,
see
so
what.
it's really directing people back into themselves, is what you're
Yes,
saying, in a lot
yes,
of ways, because it covers a wide spectrum of of tools that you use to connect back in to
That's
yourself,
right. That's right.
right?
There is a tool. It's not a magic potion
Mm.
that you take and then all of a sudden your life is going to be marvelous.
Or a
That's not how
fortune telling thing. It's really a guide back in, would you
I
say?
well, I have I mean you can predict things, but this is not like I'm really using it. I mean, I've predicted lots of things with my cards, but this is not exactly what I like to spread out. It's more like this is the tool for, connecting to your soul, connecting to your higher self that we've
Love that.
lost
I
a
love
little bit. And I just talk in pictures. These pictures tell me a certain story, and I tune into my intuition, and then the rest of the story evolves. And this is something I tell people. It's like teaching. I teach them, of course, but I encourage them, just like I encourage you. Go on that stage, do it, feel it, see what's coming up, find your intuition, find that inner voice.
that.
This is what I do during my courses.
Mhm.
And some people just look at me, I don't know, I've never done this before. And what should I feel? Well,
Well,
this
I
is
think
something,
they need to also learn how to trust themselves.
of
And we
course.
live in a world that has discouraged that, right? Where everything's been controlled and you're told how to live and what to believe and how to act and what's appropriate and that your knowing doesn't matter. You always try to fit in, right? And diminish yourself and put yourself in these boxes where you're expected to live, which are very confining when you are on this path. That box gets tighter and tighter and tighter till you can't be in the box anymore. But I think a big part of it is actually trusting yourself and knowing that what's calling to you is your soul. That the thing that is on your heart to create or to do is actually your path. And it's not your job. People really confuse their identity with their job.
Mhm.
And that's not who you are. That's what you do sometimes. But if you're really aligned and you answer the call, then your soul journey and path and calling will align with your work. Like you're a great example of that, right?
Right. Exactly. So yeah, 100%. That's what I love to do. Try let people trust their own intuition and connect them to their souls. I mean, I see this in the Reiki as well, because I started with Reiki, of course, that people like doing Reiki and feel, what am I supposed to feel? Like I have the answer what you're supposed to feel. And this is something that we really had to teach people, like close your eyes and try to see what's coming up. What is it exactly that you feel? So it's really like starting to feel, teaching them how can I feel. Well, that's the same with the tarot, of course.
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's a big part of it, right? Is tapping into your own knowing and feeling. And people have been closed off to that.
very much. And I've had people who were so much into their heads, this thinking was such a big thing in their life. And I'm very proud that some people are now really much aligned to their feeling and sometimes sending me pictures, or I follow them on TikTok. I mean, I have students on TikTok and Instagram, Facebook, they go all over the places. And sometimes I just watch them like, wow, this is amazing. Like I knew them back then, they were just thinking and now they're feeling. I mean, that's
Mhm.
great. This is
Isn't it
why,
beautiful to be able to kind of unlock the door or just give them that guidance they need to
yes,
sometimes it's just a small adjustment in their perspective or their knowing or their belief in themselves, and that small thing can unlock this entire world for them, which is so beautiful to witness, right?
yes, I love it. And I love that so many people are helping others to find this as well, like doing readings or having great conversations. I mean, the tarot is if you want to have a great conversation, and not having it superficial, like, oh, it's raining outside, which is always in Holland. You really want to have a talk about soul to soul.
Mm-hmm.
Just grab your tarot cards and things will go automatically. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
had conversations with people, and afterwards I said to this person, we would never have this conversation without the tarot. Never, ever, ever. And this is why I love the tarot so much. I mean, as you can tell, I love talking, which is great if you're and a
Well, that's
reader.
why you're here, is to share your wisdom, your
Um,
knowledge, your
yeah,
journey.
if I would be a tarot reader, I wouldn't talk. That would be suspicious, wouldn't it? Uh, so yeah,
Absolutely. So, what are you presenting in this upcoming conference? Your
in
topic.
Australia,
Hmm.
you mean, I'm presenting this book. I can't present everything, of course, but I take them on a small journey, and I will show them which card is connected to their soul journey. So there's 9 cards. You have one of 9 paths you follow in this life, and this is very much connected to one of the cards. For example, I'm a number 2 and an 11 in numerology, and the number 2 is connected to the high priestess, and the high priestess is the card of the intuition. Obviously, I'm following this path of intuition. The funny thing, my wife is also following this path. So we're both 11 and we're both number 2. So,
Wow.
and I take them on this journey. It's a journey. That's why I call this book Discover Your Tarot Soul Journey, because it's not something you just do like, okay, we'll do a tarot reading. That's it. No, it's a journey. It's a journey inside of you, internally to your soul. And sometimes people start this journey and figure out, like, I'm on the complete different path than I should be. And then they start thinking, like, okay, what can I do that's aligned with this path? And this is something I really like, because I would like people to think about what they're doing in life. And most of the people are like, I don't like what I'm doing. Like I said, I don't like this role that I'm playing anymore. And that's why they start connecting and finding the book, because people find me. They find the book because they need this for, their next path. So it's a journey. It's a journey with tarot cards, of course, with doing spreads, finding insights. Some things are really fixed. Some things are really fixed, like numerology. So it's a mixture of things like numerology as well. But there's also a discovery with your tarot cards about yourself, your talents, the things that you are really, really good at, and the things that you still can discover about yourself. So it's a journey. That's why I called it your tarot soul journey, because it's not something you do in a week.
It's a daily practice too.
It is. Some people have done it, the journey, a long time ago, and have said, hey, I started my new journey because I felt like a new person, because I just got a new path and I felt like I'm going to do it again. And they discover new things
Right.
because
Well, we're constantly evolving, right?
evolving. Exactly.
Expanding. We're infinite, we're light, we're energy, we're constantly moving and changing and growing into ourselves, which is eternal, right? And that's something that I've uh, really learned on this path is that this is an eternal journey. There's no ceiling, there's no end. You
No.
just constantly expand in your consciousness and your soul. And even when you think you've reached the highest level, there's another level beyond that and beyond that. And it's
We're
been
never
incredible,
done. We're
honestly.
never done with learning, right?
It's infinite, truly, you know.
Sometimes people ask me, what do you see yourself in 10 years? Are you still being Tarot Joe and doing courses? And I have no idea. We'll see it. It's one big adventure we're on.
Yes,
It's
yes, and
so thrilling.
that's the exciting thing is that's what creates passion excitement for me is that I have no idea, and I almost feel like speaking something is a limitation because there is so much more than I could imagine for me coming to me. And you're just a living example of that, right? When you were sick, could you imagine yourself now, years later, like who you've become and what's coming to you and what you're sharing and all the knowledge and wisdom you've gained? There was no way you could see that, right? From where you were. And so I'm just really open and aligned to everything that's taking me to my highest and giving me the opportunity to serve in the highest and best way to support humanity through this transition, and to bring the light and hold the
Very,
torch for others. However big or small that calling is, in human terms, vibrationally and energetically, it's massive because every ripple you send out with your frequency is powerful and
yeah.
build on it and change it and expand on it. So there's just so much infinite potential,
Yes, fully
beginning with
agree.
you individually, whoever you are and whatever you're here to do, I believe.
Yeah. I posted a video the other day about, this being the hermit year, and I just spoke directly to people like, uh, what is your light? What do you bring in this year? Because, you can talk about things that's darkness and the dark things. It doesn't help. The only thing you can do is try to do things that you feel like you have a grip on, like I can change this in my life. So I would like to encourage everybody, like, what's your light? How can you bring light to this world? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Even if it's the tiniest thing, like saying hi to a stranger or saying, how are you? You look great today. Even if you don't know this person, maybe you're the only one that this person is talking to. Like, bring light is very simple, and it's a collective thing. We need to do this together in order to move away the darkness. You can't get out darkness with darkness, only with love and light, and do something nice, whatever it is, for someone.
I
That's
agree.
what
And I also feel like where we place what our perspective is too is really impactful. So if you're only focusing on the fear and the challenges and everything, your energy is going there, your frequency and vibration is going there.
Yes,
And
totally.
people have to realize there is a cosmic order to everything happening on our planet right now. There is a divine sequence and order to every single thing happening. So to get so hyper focused on what is perceived darkness, or maybe it is dark, is not zooming out and seeing the bigger picture and trusting that we are in a divine alchemy and change on our planet. We're transitioning to light. That's going to
Yes,
require a lot of chaos. It's going to require a lot of things falling away and a deconstruction of the architecture that has not served us. So it's going
we
to look chaotic and
yeah.
it's going to look dark sometimes.
I always make people aware of the fact, like, we do a lot of, for like, inner child healing, and
Mhm.
what you say to yourself is very important. Words are very powerful,
Yes,
especially what you say in life. I mean, what you tell yourself is something you tell the universe. Like, whatever you want in your life, you have to express. And if you express darkness, that's something you should be prepared to receive.
experience, right?
And if you want the light, you want positivity, then this is something you should receive. Like, speak it out, what you want, not what you don't want, what you actually do want, and,
Right.
and how you want things in life and how you vision yourself. I manifesting myself, traveling the world and speaking to people, hugging people. I love hugging people. Signing books if they want me
Yeah,
to take
yeah.
pictures, like speaking to thousands of people and inspire them, not because of me, but hopefully they will go home and think, hey, this lady was pretty normal. Maybe I can do this too, what she's doing.
Right.
So whatever you say to the world, this is something you manifest, even in future. I mean, there's so little people who have a vision for the future. Visualize what you want, and then the universe can put all this energy towards it. And of course, do the actions and do the scary stuff that I'm telling you, that I
Mm-hmm.
told you about.
Mm-hmm.
Then things you discover if this is something that you're supposed to do or not. If you find walls and you can't break them, this is not something that's aligned with you. And if you find beautiful people like I've met all over the world, then this is something you have to do, like
Mm-hmm.
I do, like Wendy's doing. So, and we're normal girls, Wendy, aren't
We are
we?
normal. We are so normal. And I had the same thing when I wrote my book. It was this feeling that, and knowing that, look, if I could do it, if I could, if I could overcome the adversity, if I could break these programs, if I could align with my soul mission and purpose, you can do it too, because there were, we've all journeyed through difficult things, all of us. No one's immune from it. We all have family trauma. We all have things we're not proud of. We've all been people who've lived in our ego and done things, but it was all part of the process, and it got us here. No one's insulated from that part of the journey. But I also think, Joe, a big part of it is that people have to understand that they're worthy. There's
Mm,
this worthiness piece, that you are born worthy. That, Source didn't create imperfect things. You came in worthy with all the tools, with all of the knowing, with all of the energetic coding in your field for you to become who you're meant to be here. You have it all within you. It's almost just like a remembering as you reconnect to yourself. You are inherently light, love. You are inherently worthy. You have everything you need. And I think it's so important for people to really understand that light within you and that knowing and that connection to your soul is what is going to guide you forward. So the more you can foster it, like Joe was saying, through these tools or through whatever tools that feel intuitively right for you, it'll take you there. It'll take you where you need to be. And it's important right now. We need you. We need all of you.
yeah, we do. We
Hold the
need,
light for the world and help us move forward.
and we all have this special talent. Everybody has a special talent. I really truly believe in that. And
Yes.
this is not something I stole it actually from my favorite author, Maya Angelou. And um, all my books, by the way, start with a quote by Dr. Maya Angelou. I'm really big fan of her. And it's I really truly believe that. And if you haven't found it, then keep looking. Keep
Yeah.
looking for that talent that you have. Keep looking for that light, because you came here with this talent, and it's your job to find it, and it's your job to make yourself happy. And everybody is here when I believe that if you're being born, there's a spot for you here, and it's a very important spot.
And it was
It
chosen, right?
was
Every
chosen. Yeah,
single
it is.
person chose to be here at this incredible time in our
Yes.
planet's history to witness this, to participate in it, to support it, right?
Yes.
And I really feel more and more people um, coming online, so to speak. And it has been really beautiful to see people overcoming and moving through all those difficult things. Specifically last year was such a powerful time. And now they're kind of just, emerging and shaking off all the dust and and the rubble, to step forward. I feel so optimistic about our future as a race. the human race, humanity, um, and what's coming for us is going to be so beautiful. And the more people that come online, the more collective frequency we bring, the higher the frequency of our planet. And there's also incredible energies hitting our planet right now at unprecedented levels. And the earth is healing, which allows her to hold higher light. So it's really, there are a lot of moving pieces here. There's higher intervention, there's higher support, and there's people like Tarot Joe here to hold the torch and be a guiding light in sometimes what feels like such dark times. So I'm just so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful for the work you do, that you had the courage to shine your light, and you're going to inspire me to do that too and get send those emails and make those calls and
Do it.
stop
Do it.
stop playing it safe in my little corner of the world here.
Well, spreading the light for a bigger audience, it really, really helps. I mean, just like you say, I believe also when I'm, in 6 weeks, I'll be in Australia. I just leave energy behind there too. Like wherever you
Absolutely.
go in the world, you leave something behind, whatever it is.
Hmm.
And this is important as well because they're so enthusiastic that I'm coming over. It feels so humble that I'm allowed to come over and that I'm allowed to go to the other side of the world to spread, my knowledge and to meet lovely people. I mean, I was talking to Kim Arnold the other day, and I was talking about having a tarot family, and it really is a tarot family. I know so many people around the world, from America, Canada, UK, Australia, Spain, they're everywhere. And what connects you is the tarot, but it doesn't matter if it's the tarot or spirituality. We're all brothers and sisters in this journey. So if you feel like, because I've noticed this as well, like there's not many people that I can talk to about spirituality. Find your crowd, find your family, because we're
Yes.
everywhere, right, Wendy?
Yes. Yes. And have the courage to reach out. I think
Yes,
I think I reached out to you. I sent a message. I think I sent a private message because I had
yes, you
seen you on
did.
a podcast platform, and I'm like, wow, her story is so interesting and powerful. I would love to talk to her. And here
Yes.
we are. So, send the message. And even what I found is even if they're not interested in messaging back, I just see them and honor the work they're doing because they're doing beautiful work, whether it's art, or
Doesn't matter
there's
what
so
you
many
do.
ways people are sharing codes, right? And light encoded messages. It's through imagery, it's through photography, it's through words, it's through whatever it is. It's it's just to me a very exciting time to be here and to
Isn't
be
it?
here at the beginning of
But
something so powerful.
like all this technology and all these new things, like we talking to each other,
Mhm.
like it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, we live in a
Beautiful.
world too that is some things are not nice, but don't focus on this. Focus on the nice things. Like we can talk to each other whenever, wherever we are. And
Hmm.
we can meet so many people and inspire so many people and help so many people if they need help from us. So
Yes.
reach out. And sometimes the other day I was looking at an Instagram of a lady who was talking about losing her only son, and I felt like I wanted to send her a message and just leave it to that. It's not important if I get something back, but
Right.
inspired
Exactly.
me. She inspired me about her story and the way she did this, and sometimes showing tears, and sometimes she was laughing, and people were commenting on this and like, how can you laugh if your child's not there anymore? And I was like, Mom, you're doing great. I just wanted to send her a message, and
Oh,
that's it. Like you
yes.
inspired me, and thank you for this. And sometimes I send this, you know, um, uh, Spotify link to this song, which I hope they find um,
Oh,
comfort
that's so
in.
beautiful. I love that you're always acting on what you receive. You're guided to do something and then you actually do that. And I do the same thing. And I feel like even if they don't respond, it's really helpful for people to be seen,
Exactly.
and know that they had an impact on us, or their work had an impact on us, or their story, had an impact. And, you know, there's something very powerful about shared humanity.
Yes. Just do something kind. It, but not like I want to have something back from you. It's more like, this is what I feel, this is what I do.
Exactly.
Then you let it go. You
But
don't have to
I also feel like no one even needs to know about it. I don't really, we often, I feel, share our time and our light and our love and our work with people, um, that we don't talk about.
no, it's energetically. We
It's
send
yeah.
light.
Oh,
And
yes.
if people are not, if I don't know them, but I get messages from they're having a hard time, I just visualize love and light, not Reiki or anything. I don't send them this
I would
without.
always welcome love and light from you. Feel free anytime to send it on over. I would receive that with an open heart.
Yes. So
And
what
vice
I do,
versa. I'll send you love and light constantly too.
yeah, thank you. I'll send it right back at you. But first I receive,
Please. I
and
was
then I'll
actually messaging somebody on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and we've never met, but we formed this friendship, And I said, I send you love every day. And she goes, I send you love too. Like, you too? I was just so like, oh, that's so nice to know people think about us. Like, I'm always sending out and I never think about someone actually sending it back, or sending it back to me. That's not why I do it, obviously, but it was really sweet. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I was so grateful.
not a one-way street, Wendy.
It's not a one-way street. Well, do you have any parting words? This time went just way too quickly. I could talk to you for hours, but I know you're busy. Do you have any parting words for people who are listening to this podcast today?
They've made it all the way through this, then they find us interesting.
True.
uh, now I hope I inspired people to find their soul journey. I really hope if the world would find, if everybody would find his or her soul journey, his or her mission in life, wow, we would have such a different life,
Can you
wouldn't we?
imagine? Can you
That would be amazing. That
It's
would
the
be.
world that I want to live in for sure. So if we keep doing what we're called to do, I'm sure that that ripple effect will create more and more people stepping into their light and their purpose and
I
mission. And
truly, truly hope that. And it's, of course, it's work. It is, you have to really be able to do the work, but that's what life is about. I mean, if we would get the money on our bank account, we would never work again now, would we?
Mhm.
Same with spirituality and finding your soul journey. That is really, but it's fun. It is fun to do the work. And I hope in the end, when you find your soul journey, then you can actually say, like I said, thank you, demons, for all these horrible things. Thank you, illness, for what it has brought me. Thank you for this beautiful life I have. And this is one of my most popular songs, "Living My Best Life." It's called, and it's most streamed, and it's something I spread out in the world. I live.
Send that link over to me and I'll include it in the show notes for people
Will
to see.
do, and I put it. It's in the back of my book as well. Like, I'm living my best life, and this is something I really love everybody to experience. I hope
It's
everybody
really
will
a beautiful thing to witness, I'll tell you. Where can people find you? What's your website address so people can find
I
you?
have an English page, of course, because I'm all going international. At tarotjoe.com, you can find me. And of course, I'm all on all social medias. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, on Facebook. You can find me over there, and you can also send me an email if you feel like reaching out. Just reach out through DMs, info@tarotjo.nl. If you feel like you want to send me a message, I love to hear from people, and I promise you always get something back.
Oh man, you're the best. Thank you so much for your gracious time and your beautiful work and the
Thank
light
you
you
for
offer
doing
them.
this.
Oh,
Amazing. You spreading this light
it's
over
so
this
fun.
podcast.
It's so fun. I love having soul to soul conversations with people all over the world and just sharing their wisdom and knowledge. There's so many people out there just doing powerful and beautiful work. So thank you so much for being you on the planet
Okay.
right now. I
Thank
honor
you.
you. And to my audience, thank you so much for joining us. Go out, love yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you next time. We'll see you later. Bye.